So, do you think Puffy was involved in the shooting?
Only they can answer that question. Can you explain these other holes in me? How'd I get gunpowder all over me?
Yeah, check this out. We don't talk about things that are nonsense. We don't even entertain nonsense, my brother.
But I mean, it's between me and him, and only he knows. So every time he say it didn't happen, or that's the only thing that makes this become an issue to everybody.
Did Tupac Shakur know that Sean Diddy Combs had put a hit on him? In the final hours before Tupac's tragic death, new evidence suggests that he found out something that sent shockwaves through the hip-hop world.
Tupac, my brother, was king of the hill, top dog, king of rap. And with it comes a lot of jealousy.
The truth about who ordered the hit on Tupac has been buried in secrecy for decades. But did Diddy really have something to do with it? Or is it just another conspiracy theory?
Now, it was this documentary that claimed, which we know wasn't true.
Yeah, check this out. We don't talk about things that are nonsense. We don't even entertain nonsense, my brother. So we're not even going to go there, with all due respect.
And what about the bombshell revelations from Tupac himself just days before he died? Was he pointing the finger at Diddy?
I mean, it's between me and him, and only he knows. So every time he say it didn't happen, or that's the only thing that makes this become an issue to everybody.
But it's not just old rumors we're talking about. With fresh claims resurfacing, including shocking statements from Tupac's own brother, and even Eminem doubling down on Diddy's involvement, the truth might finally be unraveling.
Diddy, yep, RP, rest in peace, Biggie and Pac, both of y'all should be living.
So what really happened in those final 7 hours of Tupac's life? Did he finally uncover the truth about Diddy's betrayal? The East Coast-West Coast rivalry had already reached a boiling point, but behind the public diss tracks and the media frenzy, a deadly feud was quietly unfolding, one that would lead to Tupac's assassination. Tupac had publicly accused Diddy of betrayal long before his death, but what most people don't know is what happened in the final hours before he was unalived.
After the fight, Tupac was still in that mode. Hey. When Tyson get in the ring, he knocked my out. Well, that's what Tupac gonna do. He was still charged up. Everybody go to jail.
On September 7th, 1996, just hours before Tupac was shot in Las Vegas, he allegedly received devastating news. News that his death had been planned, not by random thugs, but by someone closer to him than he thought.
They disrespected me, my name, my family, what I had been through. They said that I couldn't be in pain.
Rumors, allegations, and bombshell interviews now suggest that Diddy, one of the most powerful figures in the music industry, had put a hit on Tupac. Even Tupac's brother, who has been silent for years, has come forward with shocking revelations. He said Diddy tried to reach out to Tupac just days before the fatal shooting.
Because he reached out to me personally to, give his denial or his position. And, things look different at this point.
Was Tupac on the verge of uncovering something so sinister that it cost him his life? And why would Diddy, someone who was supposedly on the same team, have wanted him gone? Let's start with the new allegations that are coming to light. A woman named Ashley Parham has alleged in a new lawsuit obtained by E! News that the music mogul, who is currently in jail on charges of racketeering, P-stitution, and STF-icking, S.A.'d her in retaliation for her suggestion he was involved in the 1996 unalivement of Tupac Shakur. According to the Oxtr 15 filing, Parham met a man named Shane Pierce, listed as a co-defendant alongside Combs, at a bar in 2018. Pierce allegedly FaceTimed Combs while he and Parham were outside the bar.
Ashley Parham says that she told both Shane and Diddy on FaceTime that she wasn't impressed. And this is important. She says she believed that Diddy had something to do with the murder of Tupac Shakur.
Parham then alleges Combs heard the remarks and told Parham on FaceTime she'd pay for the allegation and her overall dismissal of Combs. The following month, Parham claims Pierce asked her over to his home to assist with administering cancer medications. It was there that Combs arrived with a bodyguard, 2 women, a friend and his driver, the latter of whom reportedly remained outside. Parham claims Pierce invited her over to his home to set her up to be SA'd by Combs over the statements she'd made the month prior. According to the lawsuit, Parham alleges Combs approached her with a knife, threatening to give her a Glasgow smile, in which a cut is made from the corner of a victim's mouth to their ears. From there, Parham claims Combs undressed her and SA'd her with a TV remote, drugged her, and then proceeded to gang up on her alongside Pierce, Combs' bodyguard, and his friend. the latter two of whom are referred to as Doe 1 and Doe 2 in the filing. According to the filing, Combs allegedly threatened Parham during the ordeal, telling her they could ship her off anywhere in the world and that she would never see her family or anyone she knew ever again, in addition to the threat that they could sell her to potential clients for intimacy. Anyway, to understand why most people are convinced that Diddy wanted Tupac dead, we have to go back to the heart of the East Coast-West Coast war. It wasn't just about music. It was personal, violent, and in Tupac's case, it was a matter of life and death.
Can you explain these other holes in me? How I get gunpowder all over me?
Before Diddy and Tupac became the icons we know today, the rivalry between the East Coast and West Coast hip-hop scenes was already brewing. Hip-hop started in the early 70s at block parties in the Bronx, New York. Since the genre was rooted on the East Coast, New York rappers saw themselves as the leaders of the movement. But by the late 80s and early 90s, the West Coast began making waves, challenging the East Coast's dominance. Despite the growing competition, some rappers tried to bring both coasts together with unity songs like Stop the Violence from the East Coast and We're All in the Same Gang from the West. Things took a serious turn in 1991 when Suge Knight, Dr. Dre, and others founded Death Row Records on the West Coast. With massive hits like Dr. Dre's The Chronic and Snoop Dogg's Doggy Style, the West Coast was gaining the recognition it had long been fighting for. Meanwhile, the East Coast was also having its moment as Sean Puffy Combs launched Bad Boy Records. After being fired from Uptown Records, Diddy was determined to make his own mark. He quickly became a music powerhouse, bringing on artists like the Notorious Big, also known as Biggie Smalls.
Took me out of a dangerous game, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I was selling drugs real hard, you know? When I got the record deal, all I got cut short, so it's like he Jesus to me.
Interestingly, before all the beef, Biggie and Tupac were actually friends. They met through a drug dealer and hit it off, with Biggie even crashing on Tupac's couch when he was in California. Tupac would also visit Biggie in New York. At one point, Biggie even asked Tupac to manage him, but Tupac told him to stick with Diddy, predicting that he'd make Biggie a star. Despite this advice, their friendship couldn't survive the rising East Coast-West Coast rivalry. In November 1994, everything changed. Tupac was in New York for a recording session at Quad Studios with his crew, including his close friend Randy Stretch Walker. As they entered the studio, they were ambushed by 3 men, and Tupac was shot multiple times. While it appeared to be a robbery, Tupac started getting suspicious when Diddy, Biggie, and others, including music manager Jimmy Henchman, showed up at the studio shortly after the shooting. Henchman was the one who had invited Tupac to the studio in the first place, which only fueled Tupac's suspicions that he had been set up by Bad Boy Records. Tupac's suspicions only grew stronger when he went to prison for SA in early 1995. While he was locked up, Diddy visited him, trying to convince him that Bad Boy wasn't involved in the shooting. But Tupac didn't buy it.
So, do you think Puffy was involved in the shooting?
Only they can answer that question. I have my own opinion, but I wouldn't slander their name like they did mine.
The tension between him and Diddy boiled over in August 1995 during the Source Awards. Suge Knight, who was now closely allied with Tupac, threw a not-so-subtle dig at Diddy while accepting an award.
Any artist out there want to be an artist and want to stay a star, and don't want to have to worry about the executive producer trying to be all in the videos, all on the record, dancing. Come to Death Row.
Diddy, trying to keep the peace, responded by taking the high road in his own speech. But things kept escalating. Just a month after the Source Awards, Suge Knight's friend, Jai Big Jake Robles, was unalived after leaving a birthday party. Suge believed Diddy had something to do with it, as Diddy was also at the event. This tragedy only made things worse. After Suge Knight helped bail Tupac out of prison, Tupac officially signed with Death Row Records, making his allegiance to the West Coast clear. From this point on, the rivalry between the two coasts and between Tupac and Diddy was in full force. On September 7, 1996, around 11:15 p.m., Tupac Shakur was shot in a drive-by shooting in Las Vegas, Nevada. He was just 25 years old. The shooting happened while Tupac was riding with Suge Knight, the head of Death Row Records, after attending a Mike Tyson fight earlier that night.
After the fight, Tupac was still in that mode.
Hey. When Tyson get in the ring, he knocked us out. Well, that's what Tupac gonna do.
He was still charged up.
Everybody go to jail.
They were driving through the intersection of East Flamingo Road and Covell Lane when a white Cadillac pulled up beside them. Without warning, shots were fired. Tupac was hit 4 times, twice in the chest, once in the arm, and once in the thigh. Suge was grazed by a bullet, but managed to keep driving despite being injured and having a flat tire. Tupac was rushed to the hospital, where he would spend the next 6 days fighting for his life. Earlier that night, Tupac and Suge had attended the Tyson-Seldon boxing match at the MGM Grand Hotel. After the fight, Tupac got into an altercation with a man named Orlando Anderson, a gang member from South Compton. Tupac and his crew had attacked Anderson in the hotel lobby, and this incident is believed to have set the stage for what happened later. Anderson had previously been involved in a robbery attempt on one of Tupac's friends, so tensions were already high. After the fight, Tupac went back to his hotel to change clothes before heading out to Club 662, a nightclub owned by Suge Knight. Just minutes before the shooting, everything seemed routine and calm. Tupac Shakur, still energized from the Tyson fight and excited for the night ahead, was spotted chatting with 2 women through the open window of Suge Knight's black BMW. They were likely discussing plans to meet up at Club 662, a club owned by Suge, where Tupac was set to perform. It was supposed to be a night of celebration, but that moment of normalcy turned tragic when a white Cadillac pulled up alongside them at a red light. Without warning, gunfire erupted from the back seat of the Cadillac. The shooter unleashed a hail of bullets at Tupac's car, hitting the rapper multiple times. 2 bullets struck him in the chest, one pierced his arm, and another lodged in his thigh. One of the bullets punctured his lung, causing critical damage. In the chaos, Suge Knight, who was also grazed by a bullet, managed to keep control of the car despite the flat tire. He sped off, desperate to get Tupac to safety. Tupac's bodyguard, Frank Alexander, wasn't with him in the car. Tupac had asked him to drive his girlfriend, Kidada Jones's car instead, in case they needed extra room later in the night. When the shooting happened, Alexander and others in Tupac's entourage tried to chase the Cadillac, but they quickly lost sight of it. The attackers had vanished into the Las Vegas night. Despite being injured, Suge was able to drive for a mile before police pulled them over, realizing the severity of the situation. Paramedics rushed Tupac and Suge to the University Medical Center of Southern Nevada, where Tupac was immediately placed on life support. His condition was dire, and doctors did everything they could to stabilize him. He was placed in a medically induced coma as they worked to save him. Tupac briefly regained consciousness when his girlfriend, Kidada, played Don McLean's song Vincent by his bedside, but his moments of awareness were fleeting. His condition continued to deteriorate, and despite efforts to save him, including the removal of his damaged lung, Tupac couldn't overcome his injuries. 6 days after the shooting, on September 13, 1996, Tupac Shakur tragically passed away from respiratory failure and cardiac arrest. His death marked the end of a life and career that had impacted millions.
Near fatal shooting, but he couldn't survive a second. Rap star Tupac Shakur died last night after a brief life in a rough business. He was 25.
Following Tupac's demise, there were allegations that a white Cadillac had been seen fleeing the scene of the crime. Here's where the story takes a turn. Almost 3 decades later, and much hypothesizing later, LAPD charged Crip gang member and uncle of Orlando Anderson, Keefe D., with the unalivement of Tupac Shakur. The charges follow 2 confessions Keefe D. made about his presence in the infamous white Cadillac on the night of Tupac's fatal shooting. One during a 2008 police interview in which he mistakenly believed he would be granted immunity for the confession, and a second in 2018 TV series Death Row Chronicles, in which he revealed a cancer diagnosis and stated he has nothing left to lose. According to Keefe D., Diddy allegedly contacted an associate named Eric Von Zip shortly after Tupac's shooting to inquire about their involvement. Although Keefe couldn't be prosecuted for the statements he made to the LAPD due to certain legal agreements in place, the content of his statement was unsettling. Keefe claims that when Diddy learned it was their entourage who had shot Tupac, he was happy as hell. This chilling revelation suggests that Diddy was not only aware of the plot, but perhaps even sanctioned it. Keefe D's statement raises the disturbing possibility that Diddy might have been complicit in one of the most infamous unalivements in the history of hip-hop. Furthermore, in another LAPD audio clip, Keefe D asserts that Diddy paid the fee for the hit to Zip, who ultimately kept the money for himself. The implications of these allegations are profound, as they paint a picture of Diddy's involvement in a heinous crime. Keefe D's book, Compton Street Legend, delves even deeper into the alleged conspiracy. He He recalls an encounter with Diddy in New York, where the hip-hop mogul, known then as Puffy or Puff Daddy, ordered the hit while enjoying pastrami sandwiches and sipping pink champagne. Keefe D recounts Diddy saying, "I have a couple of problems I need to be handled. Big CEO, Suge Knight, and Pac." The chilling circumstances under which this alleged conversation took place add a layer of intrigue and horror to the narrative. In the book, Keefe D explains Diddy had issues with Tupac, particularly after the release of the diss track, Hit 'Em Up. He recalls Diddy saying, "That song made Puffy mad," indicating that the fiery feud between Tupac and Diddy played a pivotal role in the alleged plot. What's more, in an interview with Vlad TV, Keefe D dropped another bombshell, claiming that FBI agents informed him that Diddy had paid $1 million to Eric Von Zip for the assassination.
So the FBI told you that Zip kept that money as well?
They said Zip's a dirty. Everybody cross you.
Anyway, while Diddy denies these claims, the resurfacing of old rumors has reignited the conversation. Even Tupac's brother has spoken out. During an appearance on Piers Morgan Uncensored, Mopreme Shakur shared his doubts, saying he doesn't believe Diddy was 100% honest when he denied any part in the 1996 drive-by shooting. This comes after Shakur's family reportedly hired a high-profile attorney, Alex Shapiro, to investigate Diddy's involvement in the rapper's death after the music mogul's arrest. Days after a crime scene investigator revealed suspicions to Page Six about Sean Combs' potential involvement in Tupac Shakur's unalivement, Tupac's stepbrother, Mopreme Shakur, appeared on Piers Morgan's show. Mopreme, a former member of the rap group Thug Life alongside his little brother, was questioned about the theory that the music mogul played a part in his brother's death.
Tupac, my brother, was king of the hill, top dog, king of rap. And with it comes a lot of jealousy.
Piers Morgan mentioned that in 2008, Sean Combs had personally called Mopreme Shakur to deny any involvement in Tupac's death. This followed a controversial LA Times article claiming Combs' associates were involved in the 1994 shooting that injured Tupac, which left him bleeding. However, the article was later retracted by the LA Times as they believed there were inaccuracies in their reporting.
My opinion is that I don't believe it was a 100% honest statement.
Mopreme told Piers, according to TMZ, reacting to Diddy's claim that neither he nor Notorious Big had any knowledge of any attack on Tupac. He added, "So again, we've got to find out what's true and what's false, what's real and what's fake." Mopreme Shakur also revealed in the interview that Sean Combs had personally reached out to him to deny involvement in Tupac's unalivement.
So he reached out to me personally to, give his denial or his position. And, things look different at this point.
Tupac was fatally shot in a drive-by after leaving a boxing match at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas in 1996. When Diddy reached out to him, Mopreme said, "I told him, the truth hasn't fully come out yet, so we'll see." Now, nearly 30 years later, there's still doubt surrounding that statement, along with all the other suspicions people have. When asked whether he believes Bad Boy Records producer Sean Diddy Combs was outright lying about his involvement in Tupac's death, Mopreme Shakur responded, "Quite possibly, and it's starting to look that way in my opinion." While Combs has never been arrested, indicted, or charged in connection with the allegations, Mopreme feels it's time for the accusations to be revisited.
Because I don't expect he will, quote unquote, come clean.
But it's not just Tupac's family speaking up. Even today, major players in the music industry aren't staying silent. Eminem has been one of the most vocal about Diddy's alleged role in both the unalivements of Tupac and Biggie. Diddy and Eminem have had well-known beef for years. He called out the rapper in his 2018 song, Kill Shot. But Kells, the day you put out a hit's the day Diddy admits that he put the hit out that got Pac offed.
Diddy, yep, RP, rest in peace, Biggie and Pac, both of y'all should be living.
Fans couldn't wrap their heads around the idea that Eminem was implying Diddy ordered Tupac's untimely end. But Eminem is not just calling out Diddy for unaliving Tupac. Eminem released a song in July this year on his album The Death of Slim Shady titled Fuel that many didn't read a lot into. However, people have started going crazy for some of the brutal references that they think are aimed at P. Diddy. Fuel has gone viral for the lyrics that read, "I'm like a RAPER, got so many essays. Wait, he didn't just spell the word rapper and leave out a P, did he? TikTok users were quick to pick up on not only the deliberate spelling of rapper, but also how P. Diddy sounded just like P. Diddy.
I'm like an R-A-P-E-R. Got so many essays. Wait, he didn't just spell the word rapper and leave out a P, did he?
In any case, for years, the question of who unalived Tupac has remained one of the greatest mysteries in music history. While some point to gang violence, others believe it was a calculated hit ordered by Diddy to protect his empire. But did Tupac really know about the hit in the final hours before his death? While we may never have all the answers, one thing is clear. Tupac's death was more than just a tragic accident. And with new claims resurfacing, the truth about his final hours may finally be revealed. Anyway, that's it for this video, folks. Bye.